I don't plan, that I'm like, wow, what has happened here speaks into the word that God is trying to give this church and the people who are watching online, the people who are joining us, the people who hear this later on, the people who search in the future for why do bad things happen to good people. God's doing something in that. And in a small way, God revealed something about asking that question to start with. And it happened in my life a couple weeks ago. I have a home gym, and I invite people over to the home gym to work out, and I call it Jesus and Gym. And what we do is we talk and we work out and we just have great life conversation, and different people can come over. And so I was just getting back into the swing of things, and one of my buddies came over, and we were doing an overhead press. And when we were doing this overhead press, we were about, an hour into the workout, and we're doing this overhead press, and it got pretty heavy. And as I was lifting the weight, I kinked my neck in a really good way. Like, I felt it right when I did it. I was like, I was like, got it. And I was like, okay. But with a kinked neck, usually it goes away in a couple days. Well, the pain increased over the next week, and then the following week it increased again, to so much so where I was walking around in public like holding my hand above my head because my shoulder was hurting, or I was just sitting down with my arm like this, and at times I would be talking to people and I would just bend down. And because the pain went from my neck to my shoulder to radiating from the back of my shoulder down to my elbow, and it just pulsates, just pure pain. And 2 weeks ago I gave up. I gave up, as any good guy would do, and I finally went to urgent care, right? Has anyone ever gone to urgent care? It was new to me. I didn't know they had these things because I'm a dude. And so I ended up going to urgent care, and I had given up. I mean, the pain was so bad. And when I go to urgent care, I've given up. I basically said I can't handle it anymore. And I have a super high pain tolerance. And so I went into urgent care, and I get over there, and I'm like, finally, I'm going to get answers. So I walk in, and my shoulder's just screaming. And I walk up to urgent care, and there's a gentleman who walks in before. I say, go ahead, it's fine. Pain for another 10 minutes is just going to be what I've experienced for 2 weeks. And he walks up in front of me, and he goes, I was in here a couple weeks ago, and I would just like to see if I can get a refill on the prescriptions that you guys. And she goes, look, we don't do pain management. We don't do pain. If you're trying to get a refill on pain, we don't do that. We can't do it. There's an opioid crisis going on. We're not going to do that. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, this is tense. And so I'm sitting back there, and I'm like, all right. And I'm hearing this, and he's like, well, if I can't do it, she's like, do you have an appointment? Do you need an appointment? I was like, whoa. And I was like, whoa. And so he goes, no, just don't worry about it. And he walks out. And so I walk up, and without even thinking it through, she goes, how can I help you? And mind you, I don't really respond well to that, especially when I'm in pain. I was like, well, I have this pain. And I was like, oh. And she goes, we don't do pain management. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I heard you before. I was like, I said the wrong word, and I apologize. There's something going on here that has caused me to go, oh, like that most of the day. And I was like, and she goes, we don't offer pain management. And I was like, something is happening here, and I don't know why, and I need to get it figured out. She goes, is it broken? I said, no, it's not broken. I was like, I can move it. It just hurts. And she goes, I've already told you we don't do pain. And I was like, oh, and I was like, can you just tell me what you can do? Can you just tell me? And she goes, do you need an x-ray? And I was like, no. She goes, good, because our x-ray tech quit. And I was like, well, I'm sensing that. No, I was like, I didn't say it like that. I was like, okay. I was like, wow, that's a rough day. She goes, it's been a long day. I was like, and I was like, no. I was like, it's probably like a pinched nerve or something. And she goes, we don't do MRIs here. I was like, okay. And I was like, what can you do? And she goes, well, for you, probably nothing. And you have to understand, at this point, I gave up and went to urgent care. For the rest of my life, I will never give up again. No, I'm just kidding. Like, I had already given up, and I got to this, and she said, I can't help you. And it was crushing. And I'd already scheduled a doctor's appointment for Monday. She goes, can you make it through the weekend? She goes, if not, just go to the emergency room. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to live for 3 more days in the pain that I am in. I'm just going to keep on going for it. And I went to the Monday and got to the doctor and went on from there. How often does it feel like when we search for answers to why do bad things happen to good people, it feels a lot like, hey, we don't do pain management. I want you to think about that. Because we're going to ask a really deep question at the start of this message today that you're going to have to answer for yourself. And it's in two ways. It's for the things that have happened to you that have hurt a lot. And it's for when you've been around other people and things have happened to them that have hurt a lot, and who you are in those situations.